Smoking asphalt in Centralia, sand invading a house in Kolmanskop, the stone village of Craco, an abandoned saloon in Bodie, and the fortress island of Hashima. No narration, only ambient sound. Imagine living where the ground burns beneath your feet, or in a luxury city devoured by sand. Imagine walking through a medieval village cursed by nature, or a Wild West town where stealing a single nail could cost you your life. These places are not fiction. They exist. They are scars on the map, cities abandoned overnight. The question isn't how they died, but rather, what did they leave behind? Today, we will cross the globe to unlock the secrets of 5 cities that time forgot, and feel the chilling force that compelled everyone to flee. Our journey begins in fire in Centralia, Pennsylvania. In May of 1962, what started as a simple trash fire near an abandoned coal mine turned into a silent catastrophe. The flames reached a vein of anthracite, the purest and slowest burning coal. It was the recipe for an eternal disaster. For years, residents ignored the danger. Life went on, but the monster grew beneath their feet. In 1981, the earth opened up. A 12-year-old boy, Todd Domboski, was swallowed by a steaming sinkhole in his backyard and was narrowly saved. It was the final alarm. The government initiated a $42 million relocation plan. Homes were bought and demolished, and the population of over 1,000 was reduced to a handful of stubborn residents who refused to leave. The town's zip code was erased. Today, Centralia is a maze of empty streets leading nowhere. Its most iconic symbol, the graffiti highway, a stretch of Route 61 that was closed and taken over by art, was buried under dirt in 2020. The fire, which could burn for another 250 years, continues its subterranean march, a reminder that some mistakes are so deep they can never be undone. From eternal fire, we travel to the silence of the desert. In 1908, a railway worker named August Stouch found a diamond glittering in the Namibian sand. The news spread like wildfire, and within a few years, in the middle of nowhere, Kolmanskop was born, an oasis of German architecture and unbelievable luxury. The town had the first tram in Africa, a hospital with the first X-ray machine in the southern hemisphere, used for both health and to stop miners from stealing diamonds, as well as a theater, a casino, and an ice factory that produced daily blocks to keep the colonists' drinks cold. The wealth was so great that diamonds were sometimes just picked up from the ground. But the same force that created Kolmanskop also destroyed it. After World War I, much larger diamond deposits were found further south. The town was abandoned almost instantly. Families left behind their opulent homes and expensive furniture. And then the desert, the true owner of the land, began its reclamation. Today, sand dunes are the new residents, filling ballrooms and swallowing porcelain bathtubs. It's a surreal portrayal of how quickly greed can build an empire and how nature can turn it to dust. From a city swallowed by sand, we go to one that was betrayed by stone. High on a hill in southern Italy rests Craco. Founded in the 8th century, this medieval village was a natural fortress. It survived centuries of plagues, invasions, and the region's political instability. Its Norman tower and stone churches witnessed countless generations being born and dying. Craco seemed eternal, a place that human conflicts could not defeat. But its enemy wasn't man, but the very earth it trusted. The hill of clay and sand was unstable. A series of landslides, worsened by infrastructure work, sealed its fate. In 1963, a major landslide forced the evacuation of nearly 2,000 inhabitants to a nearby valley. Craco became an empty shell, perfectly preserved and eerily silent. Its ghostly beauty has turned it into a coveted filming location, serving as a set for movies like The Passion of the Christ and Quantum of Solace. To walk its streets today is to walk through a broken dream, where every stone seems to whisper the story of a community that conquered the world but lost the battle against the ground. But if in Craco, the earth is the villain, in Bodie, California, the danger was always man himself. At the height of the gold rush, Bodie was such a violent place that a little girl, upon learning her family was moving there, allegedly prayed, "Goodbye, God, I'm going to Bodie." With over 60 saloons, the town was a den of gunslingers, thieves, and prospectors, where shootouts were a daily occurrence. The bad man from Bodie was a legendary figure, a synonym for chaos and lawlessness. But like all fevers, the gold fever passed. Devastating fires and brutal winters helped empty the town. Today, Bodie is a state historic park, preserved in a state of arrested decay. But its most enduring legend is not in its bullets, but in its curse. It is said that any visitor who takes an object from the town, a piece of wood, a bottle, a rusty nail, will be cursed with bad luck, illness, and tragedy. The park receives dozens of letters each year from remorseful people returning the stolen items, along with tales of their lives falling apart. The Bodie curse serves as a final warning. In this town, even in death, some things are best left alone. From a Wild West curse, our final destination is a concrete tomb in the east. Known as Gunkanjima, or Battleship Island for its imposing silhouette, Hashima was a miracle of engineering and a real-life hell. Purchased by Mitsubishi in 1890, the island was transformed into a coal mining city, becoming one of the most densely populated places in history. Thousands of workers and their families were crammed into a hive of concrete buildings, connected by a maze of stairways and corridors. The island had everything: schools, a cinema, a hospital. But behind the facade of progress lies a dark history. During World War II, Korean and Chinese prisoners of war were forced to work to their deaths in the suffocating mines beneath the sea. In 1974, with the rise of oil, the mine was closed. The evacuation was shockingly fast. Within weeks, the island was completely empty. Apartments were abandoned with televisions, telephones, and personal belongings, as if everyone had simply evaporated. Hashima is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a monument to the rise and fall of the industrial age, and a silent memorial to the lives that built and suffered in its heart of stone. Fire, sand, earth, curses, and concrete. Cities that show us the fine line between civilization and abandonment. Here we investigate that very frontier, between the light of what history tells us and the shadows of what has been forgotten. The Light and Shadows channel exists to uncover these mysteries. But what if I told you there are places that weren't abandoned but were erased from the maps on purpose? If you have the courage to discover what's hidden, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because in our next video, we will explore the places that officially do not exist. Until next time, here on Light and Shadows Global.